Welcome back, everyone, to our Let's Play series of Motorsport Manager. And as of our last event, which was event number 7 out of 10 on the European Championship calendar, we now have a commanding lead in the Team Championship, which is, of course, the most important, but also in the Drivers' Championship, we are now first and second. So things are going great. Now, at this point in the season, we really don't have a whole lot going on. You know, car development, we have a new gearbox that'll be on its way in 22 more days. But as far as performance improvements or reliability improvements, we really don't have anything to deal with, as for the most part, our car is about as good as it's going to get, which of course is to be expected at this part of the season. So this is going to be a little bit shorter video because I'm going to go ahead and pause the video now, and we'll come back when that gearbox is finished. All right, so we've just finished up with our new gearbox, which falls under the great category. Let's come in under our car and go ahead and fit this new part. Now, I'm not sure this is going to be a good idea at this point to give the new part to Sergio, but for now, we're going to see if that will work. What this does is it moves not necessarily so much of a big deal for Sergio as he goes from 256 to 267, but it's a much bigger deal going from 206 to 256 for Rafael. So what we're going to do now is come in under our completely idle factory staff. So they've been sending me emails about how they are completely bored and would love nothing more than to have an opportunity to have something to do. So all right, so now they're going to have something to do. They're going to be working on reliability. Okay, with that in mind, let's take a quick look and see if there's any new parts we can work on. Now, I am perfectly fine not working on any new parts for the remainder of the season, simply to save our money. So let's take a look at brakes. And again, if we can't get over 250, probably around 260 or so at minimum, then I'm not really all that interested in working on. We'll just save our money because I have no idea at this point if any of this will transfer over. If we do hold on to our position and transfer into the Tier 2 series next year, I have no idea about any of that. So let's just go ahead and pick the best we can. And let's see. So I can go... we'll have to go into a risk level if we're going to get, looks like anywhere. All right, looks like plus 50 here. All right, so that's 292, 301. Okay, so that's good. That gives us, it's still we're on low risk. And we also have some idea of what would happen if we unlock the building for the brakes. Looks like we could get plus 50 on the soft and then the variations of the soft tire. So I like that idea a lot. Of course, then plus 70 is also good. So I like those. So that's definitely something we'll look at in the future. But for now, I like this idea. So for 750,000, we're going to go from somewhere in the mid 200s, around 230 to 250 on our two brakes, all the way up to around 300. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Of course, it's not going to be done before the race, but we already knew that. So that's not a big deal at all. Again, I have no idea if this is going to carry over into next year, but even if it doesn't, that's no big deal at all to me. Okay, so let's come into our car and see what we were able to get done. Okay, so we were able to get up to 71%, so I'm happy with that. I'm not sure exactly if that's going to work out for Sergio because this part will be on Sergio's car. But I think 70% is sort of a minimum to use it in a race. So I feel pretty good about that. I think we can make that work. All right, so for this race, we're going to go ahead, same thing, third or above, and we'll be making 326 if we don't manage that, but of course 1.35 if we do. I think we're already set for our parts and the usual. We got one content and one angry, so nothing new there. And I believe we're ready to race. So practice has just finished up, and it was indeed a great practice session for us. The sun was out the entire time. Looks like the sun is going to be out at least at the very beginning of the race, and hopefully it'll stay that way throughout the entirety of the race. So our knowledge-based bonuses are the same as what we're used to seeing, soft tire bonuses as well as the race trim bonuses. And then if we take a quick look at our setups, there will be no one-stop strategy here. We could stretch this to probably 7 laps, but we can't make it to 15 in one stop. So 95% is what we ended with. I've added a little bit of extra downforce beyond that to try to get him to either great or excellent in that category. Everything else was excellent, as you can see on the setup there. So looking very nice there. Soft tires. We're full of fuel. And then Rodriguez, we started out at 96%, went backwards a little bit as I was trying something with the handling, and then immediately back up, not only above 96%, but we made it to 98% for the final there. So very nice. And same thing, soft tires and full of fuel. Now for driver strategy, we are going to have both cars push and both cars on high. I don't want to go to the overtake mode right now. We'll save that to the final lap. Maybe a little bit earlier for Sergio. We'll see how things work out. But for now, we want to go with this, and let's go ahead and get the race started. Remember, if you're not familiar with the series, there is no qualifying. You start in reverse order based on your championship points, and since we are first and second, we'll start last and next to last on the grid. All right, so here we go. Get the race started. Again, I'll be keeping an eye on, hopefully weather won't be an issue, but we'll keep an eye out for weather. We'll keep an eye out for tire heat, tire degradation, that kind of thing. So we got a lot going on. Right now we are 15th and 20th. Just as I say that, looks like we're going to lose a couple of spots. So far tire heat looking good. All right, let's go ahead and spin this around. Again, it's just a preference of mine. I like to be able to see pit road just in case I decide to watch the stop whenever the time comes for that. And so we're now here on lap 2. Pit stops will begin around lap 4, and we will try to stretch that at least 1 lap beyond that to make it to at least lap 5 and get 1 lap of green flag racing on a clean track for us. So 17th and 18th, again, not making up a whole lot of positions there. Oh, and we have got we've got a penalty here. So we've got a wreck on the track, and we've got an issue. So he's got a drive-through penalty and a crashed car. So this does not look good at all. Okay, so he's going to have to come in, and might as well change the tires and everything while we're in here. Fill him up on fuel. So we're going to have to do that. Wow, might as well fix this while we're in here. So his day, it would seem, is basically done at this point, because he's going to have to go really slow. And you can see here in the top right-hand corner of the screen on the mini-map, he is going much slower than the cars around him. So, wow, definitely not what we were looking for here. Remember, we have a sizable lead, but at the same time, all right, so let's see. Looks like we got to pass the safety car there. Interesting. So we're in 7th position now. We still got that drive-through penalty to take into account for Sergio. The good news is Sergio is all fixed up. Let's go ahead and let's see. Let's go low on that and conserve and low there. Again, simply because it appears as though what happens is your tire degradation and fuel usage is the same. Whether you are, let's go ahead and back this down too, so that whenever we change tires, it will be good to go. So we're going to go ahead and come in. No reason really for us not to. If we were going a one-stop strategy, this would throw a kink in it. But for the most part, if anything, this might help us out a little bit. Let's go ahead and speed up. And we'll have the ability, looks like maybe come out All right, now the question is, we've got this drive-through penalty, and I have no idea how to serve that. If I choose pit and nothing else, will that cause him to simply drive through? I'm actually not sure. So pit strategy, part condition, is there anything that would tell me how to serve this penalty? Because I have no idea. I have no idea how to get him to come down pit lane to serve this penalty. This is a first for me. I keep looking for something that would cue this. He's still not coming in. I wanted him to come in there, but really, see, I can't continue here. So no options there. I mean, I've got it down to nothing here. Wow, this is odd. I'm sure I'm missing something. But as of now, I have absolutely no idea how to get him to come in. So I'll just keep poking around here. And can I click on something, anything? I have no idea. I mean, I would love to think that doing this would allow him to come in, but I don't know. I guess I'm just going to have to let the game do whatever it's going to do, because it's not really, as far as I can tell anyway, it's not giving me any direction on how to serve this penalty. You know, I have no idea what buttons to push, if anything, to make this happen. All right, so I guess whatever happens will have to happen, I suppose. So if we get disqualified, I guess it'll just have to happen that way, because I have no idea how to do this. And it's a drive-through. I can't stop in my penalty, in my box. All right, let's go ahead. Everything is about to happen. Now, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and have him push and go into overtaking so that we can go ahead and make up all we can. All right, so we're back here on Sergio, and still nothing that I can see. Okay, here he comes. Okay, so it did it on its own. Thank goodness. Because I was really concerned there, because I had no idea what buttons to push to make that happen. All right, so we're up to 8th now. Just inside the top 10. Okay, so Sergio looks like he's going to have an opportunity to catch up, because I'm watching here, and again, this is the beauty of clean air. When you have clean air on the car, you can really run faster laps. So hopefully he'll be able to decrease that gap to the 17th place car, and then as the next pit stops take effect, he'll have an opportunity to do his thing. All right, let's go ahead and back off a little bit there. Okay, and now have him go on full attack mode. Okay, so far so good. All right, so now, next time by, we're actually going to pit for Sergio first. That's why I backed down a little bit on the fuel usage there. I'm actually going to have to back down a little bit more. All right, so let's go ahead and set up for Sergio. Things got a little bit mixed up because of the penalties and all of that going on. So we'll hope that things still work out okay. All right, so far so good here. We're going to try to make, let's see, actually this is not going to work. I'm going to have to pit this time by. I was hoping to get a little bit more out of this, but now I've just looked at it and seen that that is indeed not going to happen. All right, so pit strategy, let's go ahead and do that. because 1.28, I tell you what do we got to lose? Let's go ahead and just give it a chance here. So we got 1.1 to make it this one additional lap, and we'll see if that works. In the meantime, we've got Sergio in the pits, and now he is out of the pits. Looks like he picked up one spot. We're going to have him, he's going to have to back that way down to make it to the end of the race. So we're going to go ahead with that plan. In the meantime, Rodriguez has got free track in front of him. Okay, and as we're getting closer to the pits, let's go ahead and set up our pit stop for him. And this will give us an additional lap. Looks like all of our parts are okay. Pretty much anyway. All right, and so here we go. Now sits in third with a nice little gap here over fourth, so that should help us out when we come out of pit lane. Okay, very good there. Okay, and we'll change the strategy. We'll go ahead and put him back on high because he has that one fewer lap to run. Okay, so we're in fourth. And third is not really within shouting distance of us right now. Tire heat running a little bit higher on Sergio, so we'll back that down. But we'll have to see how pit stops go. A lot of these guys will probably still be coming in for one final pit stop. So we'll see how that all works out. We've got a nice little lead over fifth position. So not too bad there. The main thing will be how many of these cars will be able to make it to the end on fuel. Currently looks like we're in good shape as far as fuel goes. So we're at 3 laps remaining. All right, and so far so good. Sergio will be the closest one there. And if we're still within striking distance and fuel looks okay, then we'll go ahead and attack third place and try to get on that podium. Because remember, we got a bonus riding on that if we get down there and still have plenty of fuel. Okay, once again, top 3 stay out. So they're looking pretty good, apparently, on fuel. And, of course, we already know that we're looking good on fuel. All right, we are right on the tail of the third place car here. And of course, they're right on the tail of the second place car. So we stand to pick up a couple of positions if we can play our cards right here. Okay, so we're on our final lap. Okay, no reason to hold back now. We're going to go ahead and go into full attack. And let's see. Well, I still can't quite do that for Sergio simply because I think it's going to take about 1.4, 1.45 fuel to make it that final lap if I push. All right, so now we're into second place. Excellent job there for Rodriguez. And with that, let's see, where are we? We're still good on fuel. And looks like Sergio is going to be fine as well. All right, so second place. Let's see if we can hold on to this. First place is not really in range for us, but here we come. So we're going to finish up second there. In the meantime, Sergio, let's go ahead and have him push as hard as we can to make sure we maintain what we have. And sure enough, he's going to come home 11th. So not the greatest finish there for Sergio, but a pretty good finish for Rodriguez. That's going to help him out in the Drivers' Championship, and of course, give us some much-needed points in the Team Championship. The only thing now will be, because we finished second and 11th, so such a distance apart, how will that affect us in the Team Championship based off of who finished better than 11th? Okay, so we have a pretty high risk here, higher than I would like in scrutineering. Okay, but we made it through. Okay, so we're good there. So now, looks like Sergio picks up a few spots for some rules violations. And so now it'll be second and ninth, a much better outcome that we were expecting. All right, so where does that leave us in the Drivers' Championship? Still first and second, and now a 3-point lead over third for Sergio. And in the Team Championship, we are now up 50 points. Wow. A 50-point lead headed into the final couple of races in the Team Championship. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the final couple of screens with our morale and then finally the money. So we've got our morale at 100% for Sergio, 80% for Rafael. We've got our driver increases. All of that looks very good. We came in third place in the team for this one race. So we're at 90% as far as happiness. So again, which seems to be roughly our max anyway. And marketability basically stays the same. So we pretty much hit our maxes here for the time being. On those, we get 1.37 additional funds. So now that puts us up to 4.5 million. So another really good race for us. We lengthen our lead here over second place in the Team Championship. Thank you very much for joining me in this series, as well as all the other series on the channel. And stay tuned for more Motorsport Manager.